Good morning and happy Friday. Today's topic is going to segue into a lot of different things, and I'm going to talk freely instead of trying to overanalyze my message. And I'm just going to talk, and the ideas that come to my head, I'm just going to talk about them. A lot of people, myself included, have done a lot of lying in our lives. But why do we lie? Are we afraid of something? Are we trying to convince someone of something? Are we trying to hide the truth? All of those things are likely possible. So, lying comes from judgment or bad intentions or trying to get a point across that relates to your point of view. But what does that even mean? It means that we're hiding the truth. I was taught my whole life that the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Why is it so hard to tell the truth though? Are we hiding our intentions? Are we hiding from the police? Are we hiding from our parents? Are we hiding from your job or whatever? So fear is such a big part of why we lie. It's not the only part, because there's got to be other reasons to lie. I can't think of it right now, but fear is the overarching, I feel, reason for us to lie. Are we afraid that our parents are going to punish us? Are we afraid that our partners are going to leave us? Are we afraid that our job is going to fire us? It's all about a fear of judgment, or fear of a fear of what you're going to teach somebody that you don't want them to know, because it'll cause harm to you, whether it loss or whatever. But we lie to protect ourselves, or we lie to protect somebody else. So as you start figuring things out, or as you start uncovering things about your life, and how when something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense for a reason. Trust your gut. Always trust your gut feeling. If something doesn't make sense, more times than not, it shouldn't make sense, because your gut is telling you that somebody's lying to you, or they're omitting something and performing it's a lie of omission. So when you catch somebody in a lie, love them. Love them with all your heart. Ask them questions, difficult questions, because the more that the lie snowballs, eventually they will tell you the truth, because the truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss them off. So don't be afraid of your boss. Don't be afraid of your spouse. Don't be afraid of your parents to be afraid of punishment, because they're either going to accept your honesty, and they're going to teach you whatever, they're going to explain to you why they lied to you to begin with. And they could be lying to protect you from yourself. They could be lying to protect you from something. But there's always a reason behind the lie. I died, as you guys saw in my previous video, because I was lying to my parents. I was lying to my family. I was lying to my friends, because the things that I wanted to do, they wouldn't approve of. I rode my motorcycle over 200 miles an hour. I did wheelies, all the crazy things that I could have done on a motorcycle, because I liked adrenaline. I was an adrenaline junkie, and that's something that I lost control of, and it led to my death. I've smoked weed, I've drank alcohol, I've done all these things in my life because I felt like something was missing in my life. So I used those things to remedy the feeling of loss in my soul and in my heart, because I was bullied my whole life, so I never made friends. So that was a way for me to make friends. Oh yeah, you do this? Oh cool, let me try it with you. Oh, people like motorcycles? Oh, let me show you what I can do. My wheelies. So that's why in my old motorcycle club, I'm still in it, but I don't ride motorcycles. My name was Uno. Uno was a reference to me always being on one wheel. But I see symbolism in that also. Uno also means one. It was a meaning of one wheel, but the symbolism of that was, to me now, is one life. I have one life, and I was spared from my life of destruction. So now that my life was saved, and I'm clearing all those bad things that I was doing in my life, as you guys saw in my other video, I'm living a life of positivity and understanding. And anyone that I've hurt, like I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I forgive me, please, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was living with this dark intention inside of me, always trying to be the best, always trying to make a name for myself, always trying to make the friends that I wanted to make. But I was making them in the wrong ways. Instead of going out and exploring the city, like enjoying the things that I'm passionate about, hobbies. No, I was finding people that remedied what I lost in my life, and that was my dad. I learned that my dad was the kindest, nicest person in I would say in the world, but that's because of my judgment of my dad. But he also had dark tendencies. My parents met because my grandparents were alcoholics. It wasn't a great thing, but in a third world country, that's not something that's very, very punished as it is here. But that it was a danger in the conditions that occurred in that country. But me, all these mistakes I've made, all these things that I felt like I lost because I grew up without a father, and then I had two moms growing up. I judged my life based on the mistakes that had happened to me because of what's happened. But that's not the point of life. The point of life is to forgive people and live your life in a loving manner. Love what you do. Love your hobbies. Love everything you can, but love it with a balance. Because when you don't love something with a balance, you become addicted. You become you become a cheater. You put your parents on a second pedestal or whatever, because you take yourself as a priority in what your intentions do. But that's not the point of life. Like we are meant to live positively, learning from our mistakes and living the best life we can with a balance. I was an alcoholic. I almost died on New Year's after 6 liters of wine in those 3 days. That was going to kill me a second time because the motorcycle killed me on the 31st of October, on Halloween 2021. So that was the miracle that saved my life and changed my life. But I still had something dark inside of me that I had to get rid of, because that was the second thing that was going to kill me. And there's just some things that aren't meant for you. You are living your life based on your past. You're living so much into your past that you're stopping yourself from moving forward, from moving on. And the mission is to take what we've learn from your mistakes and don't repeat them. Because when you learn from your mistake and you try to fix it and you keep doing bad, that is what goes and kills you. Like with my motorcycle, as an example, I had several warnings that as a very intelligent person, I'm an engineer, I would fix everything for the bad. I'll give you like actual examples. The first time that I was on my bike, I was on 440 and I was going 150 miles an hour around a curve. And I don't know if it happened in the turn or before, but my oil plug came out and it like my tire got completely soaked with oil. And then when I was coming around that turn, I was lucky to have the BMW S1000RR, because it's a technology on wheels, that I felt my bike slipping and I did this and my bike danced in the curve. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm saved. Thank God that you saved my life. I was able to pull the bike over and I got it towed. And a buddy of mine that lived in my apartment, he also rode bikes, Zach. And he came and he towed my bike and everything. And so I took my bike home. I didn't have money to buy oil at the time, but I left my bike in the garage and I filled my gas tank, or my oil pan, and I put Loctite on my bolt because I love cars. I'm used to being a mechanic. So when a bolt comes out, I'm not going to give details, but my example, it don't matter. So because if you learn to be bad from this, like it's on you. So I put Loctite on my bolt. I put oil on my bike. The other lucky part of why I didn't die, I had just gotten brand new tires on my bike. And so, okay, so I put oil on my bike. I was back to doing crazy stuff, doing wheelies, blah, 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 blah. And then I made this girlfriend, and I fell in love with this girl, and I loved her too much, and I was too open about how much I loved her, and we ended up breaking up. She stayed over the night before, and then in the morning, like, she broke up with me. So I was like, man, I'm very upset because this girl that I started loving, like, broke up with me. So I went and I got on my bike, I filled my gas tank, and I went on 540 and my engine blew. My engine literally blew. There was a hole in the front of my engine as I was going super fast. So I was able to pull over. I got my bike towed again, and I felt like, okay, well, that was it. I'm not riding this bike anymore because I'm not going to fix it, So that was like the second warning. So I started parting my bike out, and before my engine blew, one of my coworkers, he sold me a bike. It was a 1991 CB750, and there was a problem with that bike. Like, the brake locked up when he was riding it. It kind of threw him off. So me, being a fixer, I bought a new brake clutch or brake handle system, and I fixed the bike so the bike was back to being rideable, and I could even do like a little wheelie on that bike because I knew how to do wheelies. So I was blessed with having this bike, which I could still do little tiny wheelies, and the bike was safe. It went probably the max speed of like maybe 100 miles an hour. So I was blessed with this bike. But to me, it wasn't enough. After I got that bike, I got the tattoo on my arm. It is what it is. Because the symbolism of that is, learn from what happens to you and move on. Just don't live in the past, because my other mom always told me my whole life, like, it is what it is. Like, especially when I was getting bullied, like, she was telling me that, like, hey, it's not your fault. It's something that's going on with that person. and you can't fix them, but you also can ignore what they're doing. Because I was always very kind. I'm from a third world country. I was friends with everybody at school. It don't matter their color, their race, whatever. I was friends with everybody. And so that was something that was very meaningful to me, because my mom, I have two moms. They were probably judged their whole life of their lifestyle, because that's what people do. They're quick to judge people instead of judging their character. But anyway, I know that's a deviation, but it's all meaningful. So a little over a month after I got this tattoo, well, less than a month after I got this tattoo, I bought my brand new motorcycle. It was a Honda, a 2021 CB1000 that I could take corners, go fast. I could do wheelies on it, which was really fun. And I had the bike for not even 2 weeks until I died. I died on that motorcycle, and the doctors and nurses have no idea why I'm alive. Come to find out, I was literally dead, and my heart was just beating. So I was brain dead. And my ex-girlfriend, who was my saving grace, I've mentioned her in other videos, she went to the hospital after I was missing for 2 days, and they found me. She went to the hospital, and they were like, okay, are you here to identify the body? That was very, very traumatic and shocking to her. And I don't live with regret, but I feel very bad that she had to feel that way. Because she has felt bad our entire relationship. When I was with her, I would put her down. I would kill her self-esteem. I would call her fat and ugly. I was literally the epitome of evil to her in that relationship. She has been by my side my entire life that I've been with her and known her. I am the only dad that her daughters know. And I'm playing that role now after this realization. And she's just the best parent, because as much as I mistreated her with all of that, she has still been by my side my whole life. She started the GoFundMe for me. She was bringing people together. And even to this day, people are like, how can you deal with this guy after what he did to you? Forgiveness is what can lead you to salvation and from peace within yourself, because everybody makes mistakes, and it's the fear of judgment, the fear of honesty. Like, the truth will set you free. I know this is the third time I've said that, but the truth will set you free. But anyway, I probably deviated, but she went to the hospital and about identifying the body, and that traumatized her. And then they said, oh my gosh, we made a mistake. He's alive. And the doctors and nurses to this day, they're probably still baffled by how I'm here, because I have no damage on my body, except for the scars, because scars don't heal, and my clavicle, because that's a very hard bone. Mentally, I am the best possible in my mind to this day. I am learning everything. I am making sense of everything, and everything that doesn't make sense to me, I ask questions. But I also don't judge people, because as I learn people, I start to see the things that are wrong with what they're doing and wrong in their nature. And you can always pick up on good things from bad people, and you can pick up on bad things from good people. It's all about not judging people and loving them through their difficulties, because we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, and that's the way we have to live life. We have to first judge ourselves. Hey, why do I think this person is the way they are? Why am I judging them? What do I see in them? Because a lot of times you judge people based on your own actions. Because until you experience that, you won't see that in a person. I know a lot of things about some people because of the mistakes I've made in my life. And that's something that I've learned from, and I can forgive myself for making all those mistakes. Instead of judging people, I can mentor people. I can talk to people like, listen, what you're going through, I've been there. I learned that. I can teach you what I learned to help you go through that. So through my foundation, I want to reach out and create a website or something for people to reach out to me to get some lessons for my with my experiences, because I feel like I was saved because I've been through so much and I've made so many mistakes that eventually killed me, that I can help everybody else as a soul therapist. Like, don't feel bad. Like, I will never judge you. I will never put you down. I will teach you what you're doing wrong, and it's up to you to fix it, or just be like, okay, well, that's very tough. I can't do that right now, but take baby step. Anyway, I don't want to deviate because that's what I'm going to be teaching. But just the point of the money that I would make in this, I'm gonna have one house, I'm gonna have one work car, I'm gonna have one Dodge Viper because that's literally my dream car, and I'm gonna donate everything else to people in need, like having a foundation, a place for homeless people, with food and shelter and whatever it may be. I'm still on the day one of my plan, but everything else that I'm gonna make from my foundation, I'm gonna have my life with balance. I'm gonna have one house, one work car, one play car, and things to support my hobby. And then everything else is for you guys. Because you have to fix yourself before you fix other people. And that's where a lot of things happen in loving too much and giving too much and ignoring yourself. Because until you're on the path to perfection, you're not going to be able to teach other people, because they're not going to believe in you. They're not going to believe what you're doing. Because in the world, a lot of people that are like great people, blah, 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 they have a great business, but they also have like 10 houses. They have 20 cars. Like, that's not necessary. Greed is something that can be overwhelming, because it doesn't matter what you're greedy for. You're going to start making mistakes because your intentions are what's going to drive your beliefs and your actions. But I feel like that's the message that I wanted to share today in my video, and I hope that you guys can understand what I've done, what I've said to you. That if I've ever wronged you, if I ever came across as a liar or whatever, message me, private message me, comment, whatever. I will reach out to you and I will explain everything, why I lied to you, because I don't live with regret anymore. I understand that that was my past life, and those are the mistakes that I made in my past life, and I am on a path to move forward and learn and teach people my life and what I've learned. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of your Friday, a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of the year, or rest of your life, because I feel like if we work together, if we can learn the lessons that I'm teaching, I feel like we can save this planet. I might be overreaching, but I feel like we can make a big difference, because it only takes one person to start a business. It only takes one person to make a change. And I feel like that's why I was saved. I was saved to make a difference, because I love eternally, unconditionally, and sometimes I love the wrong thing too much. But I feel like that's why I was saved, because I loved people as much as I loved my bad decisions. So that's my goodbye. Take care, everyone, and I hope I can make more videos to teach you guys the story of my life. So take care. One more.